everyone, this is Andrew Kell alongside my producer Mike Sesko here of GoPro Wrestling, and today we have a very special guest, YouTube star, toy collector, wrestler, but more importantly, he is a father and husband, and you know him best as Grim of Grim's Toy Show and GTS Wrestling. Grim, thank you so much for joining us here today for this interview.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me. It's really cool to be here, and I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys today.
Absolutely. Hey, Grim, we want to take our viewers and your fans on a little journey to learn about the real Grim, your passion for professional wrestling and toy collecting.
Sounds good to me.
Tell us about your childhood, Grim. Where did you grow up, and what were some of your hobbies and things that you enjoyed?
I just had a normal upbringing, small town on the Jersey Shore, close to Seaside Heights. My mom pretty much stayed home and raised us, while my dad went to work. I pretty much never saw him. They split up when I was around 12, and that was kind of around the time that I really got into wrestling. And it was funny because Razor Ramon was like my favorite guy, and like I never made the connection now, but looking back on Razor Ramon back then, he kind of looked like my dad, and I kind of think like maybe that's why I liked him so much. But yeah, Razor Ramon was really like the reason I got hardcore into wrestling. Like I always watched it in passing here and there. You know, my friends would lend me tapes of WrestleMania because we didn't really have the money to buy them. We'd rent the not DVDs, the VHS tapes from the Food Town. And they used to have the little movies you could rent there, and so it was just normal upbringing as a kid. You know, nothing special.
Did you ever get together with your buddies and watch the pay-per-views together, like how a lot of people would do?
Yeah, not until I was, I want to say, 14, 15, 16, maybe more like 16. Yeah. Okay. It was actually funny because my two best friends at the time, I was friends with them and didn't even know that they watched wrestling for like 2 years. But we were like best friends. Yeah. And then all of a sudden one day, like I slipped and said something about wrestling, and they were like, "Wait, you watched that?" And I was like, "Yeah, do you?" And it was like, how are we friends? We didn't know that about each other.
And who are some of your favorite wrestlers or personalities that influenced who you are today?
Definitely, like I said, Razor Ramon, Edge, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Rock. I would have to say entertaining characters. Most of them were bad guys, but they were cheered as the good guys. Like, you know, Stone Cold was he was never a good guy. He was always a heel, but he was cheered. You know, Razor Ramon, he was the bad guy. You know, and that's sort of how my character is on the show. Everybody's like, Grim is a heel. Grim is a heel. How do people like him? He's the worst guy here.
So you really love cheering for heels.
It's not so much that I like to cheer for a heel. I like to boo a good heel. Like Chris Jericho does a good heel. Absolutely. You know, and I like to boo him. You know, like Ted DiBiase was a good heel. I hated him as a kid. I love him now because I respect the hell out of how good he was. But when I was a kid, I was like, oh, Ted DiBiase, I just want to jump through the screen, and you know. So it was kind of one of those things. It was more Stone Cold. I thought was more funny bad guy, where Ted DiBiase was, I hate this guy, bad guy.
What was your favorite pay-per-view, like from WWF, WWE, WCW? Growing up, watching?
Oh my God, I don't know, because at that point I really started watching all of them, and I watched WWF, WCW, ECW, and I don't know, I had a lot of fun at ECW once, because I went to the two of them in a row, 2 summers in a row. I think it was 97, 98 in Asbury Park. I had a lot of fun there, when Bam Bam Bigelow and Taz went through the ring. New Jack and Spike dove off the balcony. I was standing right behind Spike Dudley when he dove.
Oh, we got to find that video.
You can see it on the network.
Like, I'm right there. Like
yep, they did on the network. If you look, you can see my white shorts. They were bright as anything. And I'm standing,
There you go. Let's find that video. And,
now, was Heel wife your girlfriend at the time, or was she your wife at this time?
No, I didn't meet her until 2001.
Okay.
Got some time out there.
And around that time in 2001, 2002, you actually began your training shortly after the Attitude Era. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, I always wanted to wrestle and whatever. You know, I started wrestling when I was 12 in my basement, you know, with my brother and my sister and our friends and couch cushions and that kind of thing. And then we started our own, and it wasn't really backyard, but I mean, that's what they call it, backyard. But it was in a garage, and we had gym mats, and we just had literal rope tied around the poles in the garage. And we did that for a year, and we taped it every week, every Saturday night at 1 a.m., because that was when we could all get together in my friend's garage, and we would tape these shows. And they were on VHS tapes, and there was no YouTube or nothing. This was so long ago. And, we did that, and then I said, I really want to, now that I'm out of high school and everything, and I don't really want to go to college and be one of those stuffed shirt guys, I want to be a wrestler. So I went to the training school, Iron Mike Sharps, and, that was what I wanted to do. And I met a promoter there who was also training there, and he took me under his wing. His name was Ron Post. He took me right under his wing and said, man, he goes, you got potential. I really like the way you wrestle. You have the it factor as far as connecting with a crowd and entertaining. And he put me right on shows immediately, and went right from there.
And we actually saw you just posted recently on your channel. There was you added some great audio to that. You wrestled in what indie show was that in 2002? You showed a flashback of a match you had.
Yeah, there was quite a few matches in there. We did a show in Asbury Park Convention Hall. That was called Empire Wrestling Alliance (EWA). That was like my home base. That was the promotion run by that guy named Ron Post. And that was like my home base, but, we would me and the guys would sometimes venture off into other groups. I remember Steel City Wrestling. A lot of the other names I forget. There's so many letters, GGB, WB, whatever. But, all those shows, I believe every single show that I showed you there was an EWA show. And that's because I always had somebody there to tape it for me. I had my own VHS camera, and I had one of my friends there videoing it.
And for a lot of the skeptics, criticism, you got a lot of unfair criticism that you weren't properly trained, and we'll get to that later. But you were actually trained to take bumps and to learn ring psychology as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I feel honestly like I sort of agree when people say, oh, he's an untrained, not me, but untrained backyarders shouldn't be in a ring. I sort of agree with that. And I'm like, I'm agreeing with you, but you're using it against me. And it's dumb because, did you even ask? Did you, you shook my hand backstage and you said, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. And then I come home and I see the Facebook. I have these terrible untrained, or whatever, or they hit you in the back of the head out of nowhere, and I'm like, but I am trained. Did you even care to get to know me or find out about me? Or did you just listen to what some Joe Schmo told you because he was mad that I took somebody's spot on a show?
Right, exactly.
It aggravates me. It pisses me off.
And we're going to get to more of that in a second. But I wanted to ask you the gap in between your wrestling and training. You began in 2001, 2002, and you created GTS, give or take, about 2012. What happened in those that missing years?
Yeah, well, basically what happened was I was doing independent wrestling. I had hurt my ankle, and it was a really long rehab with the ankle. It was torn tendons and that kind of thing. And in between, I wound up getting a new job, and the job was weekends. And, obviously, if you're working on the weekends, it's really hard to do indie shows on the weekends. And I was making really good money at the job, and I wasn't really making any money at wrestling. And it just became one of those things where I had to move out. I had to get my own place. I had to row my own boat. I didn't have mommy and daddy to take care of me. I had to take care of myself. And I said, well, right now wrestling's not paying the bills. This job's paying the bills. That comes first. And, I would still find a way somewhere. It wasn't on an independent show, but I'd find somebody with a ring somewhere. We'd go screw around. We'd do matches. And I was always filming things. I loved filming things. And I know, I still have VHS tapes of a lot of skits that I used to do back then, just for fun, getting together with friends, hanging out, whatnot. But it wasn't any serious wrestling school or independent shows. It was more of, I'm just doing my own thing.
Do you plan on releasing some of those skits and things that you recorded back in
the day? If I can find them.
Oh.
Those videos that I have that I actually uploaded were the ones that I could find. And I thought I had a good idea of where there was more, and then I was like, they're not here. Where's my stuff? I don't know what happens to things.
You gotta find them.
It seems you seem like you have a knack for filming. Was that why you started your YouTube channel, or what made you start it?
I mean, my parents bought a video camera when I was 10. And it was like, that was like a big deal. It was one of those big, giant, clunky ones, and it had a big itch tape in it. And, I used to go in their room and take it out of their cabinet, and I'd set up my little WWF Hasbros, and I would video them, having matches and stuff. And literally what I did when I was 10 with the big, clunky thing is, now I'm a grown man, and I'm like...
Now you're doing it with elites.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And I literally started doing that. And I used to do little action figure reviews and all that stuff, and it was all just about the toys. And again, just because I like to film it, and then I said, oh, you know what, this will make my friends laugh. And and the best way to share a video, especially at that time, was to upload it on YouTube and just send them a link so they could watch it. Yeah. And I would share it on WrestlingFigures.com forum. Ringside Collectibles. Discount code Grim saves 10%, by the way. But
plug.
I plug them constantly because they've been so good to me. But
I've used that coupon code you put out for the tickets for when you put for Battlegrounds. Yeah.
Yeah,
you could save. They
back.
do
Discount code Grim at SeatGeek.com.
Yeah.
And they've been great to me too. But so I made these videos of action figures and just put them up for my friends and put them up for the people in the figure forums, and everybody said, these are funny, you should do more. So I just kept doing more. And then YouTube has the monetization policy where you can actually earn money off your videos. And I said, wow, man, I just made enough money this month to pay for all the figures I bought. This is a good deal. So I just kept doing it.
Now you mentioned the monetization real quick, Grim. Is it really bad? Is it true what they're saying? Because a lot of the people are saying that the channels are suffering, the wrestling channels.
Yeah. It's not just the wrestling channels. It's anything that's not rated G, family friendly. It's not just wrestling. Like people are like, oh, it's wrestling. No, it's like everything that's not rated G. And it's terrible. It sucks. Wow. I mean, I've been very fortunate to change my model quickly, and the fans accepted it with not too much backlash. Yeah. That now we do a pay-per-view. And it's $1.99, which is, that's obviously a bottle of soda,
Exactly.
But, it's not like we're getting, millions of dollars off of these, but it's enough to keep GTS going.
Support the show, right. Now, do you have a subscription model in place, or that's just per show?
It's just, for each show. There's no subscription. It's, you can buy this one and not buy that one, and however it is. We've been doing them every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, kind of depending. We kind of bounce off what WWE does. I think we're going to do in between Battleground and SummerSlam. There's like 4 weeks. We're going to do a little special in between. And again, it's only $1.99, so it's not like we're asking an arm and a leg for it. It's just enough to keep us going because the regular videos don't get that much anymore.
I wanted to bring up your grandfather. He was an instrumental part in your early infancy of your channels. A lot of the newer subscribers and followers don't know this, but can you talk about your grandfather and what he meant to you, and also as part of the channel?
Right. Well, a lot of with my grandfather was, he was very funny, and when he raised me, like, a lot of times, he'd be picking me up from school and that kind of thing, and we'd go to his house after my grandparents' house, after school and stuff, especially after my dad left. My mom had to get a job, single mom, that kind of gimmick. And, so hanging out with him a lot, and he was just such a funny guy. We always had so much fun. He was the kind of guy who'd say, hey, Pop, we want to shoot the BB gun. And he'd say, well, it's raining outside. You go shoot it at the closet down the hall. He was just funny. Like, he would prank the drive-through people at McDonald's. There was no video camera rolling, and he would just mess with them just to make us laugh in the car. That's the kind of guy he was.
Yeah, he's still a part of the channel today. Because a lot of the things that you're doing is he played instrumental parts in it.
Absolutely. So when I started doing the action figure skits and stuff, and I said, hey, I gotta get my grandfather in on this, and he had a ball with it. He loved it. And, unfortunately, it was just the last few years of his life, but he really loved it. And he was, we actually had an interview. We had people come from True TV and interview us, and they were going to do this whole thing on us, and then the show wound up getting scrapped. But he was in all his glory. He was like, I'm finally famous. His cousin was Danny Thomas, he was an actor in like the 50s, 60s. Marlo Thomas is the daughter. That was his cousin.
Wow.
And he was always like, I'm funnier than him.
That's awesome. He had YouTube to prove it, right?
Yeah.
That's great. So, Grim, let's just, we're going to move on to a recent event that's transpired at the local independent show over here in New Jersey. And before we ask any questions, we just want to let you and everyone else know that we do not condone what happened. And to be fair, we don't know all the details. But since we have you here, we want to get your side, your perspective of what went down that night.
Okay. The promoter of that organization contacted me a few weeks prior, and he had said, look, we're doing this small show. We're trying to raise money for the veterans. It's an American Legion. We know you have a lot of followers. I don't even know who gave him my number, and still none of my guys will even own up to it. But he said, I know you're the guy who could help us bring some people out, help us raise some money for the veterans. Would you be interested? And I said, well, you just want me to do an appearance, a match? And, at first he was kind of hesitant to even give me a match. So maybe just an appearance or something. I said, well, if you really want my fans to come out to it, I would really have to wrestle. That's kind of what they want to see.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll squeeze you in, give you a 5-6 minute match. I said, that's perfect. And I told him I'd bring 2 of my guys, and we'll do a triple threat match, something that's never been seen before, so something special. And I'd be happy to. He said, okay, great, whatever. I promoted the show up at the show, and this is one thing I'd like to address if I can. A lot of these people, there's like this, the respect in the indie locker room and all that kind of thing, and I just want all independent wrestlers to know. Of course I respect all you guys and whatever. Like, people are like, oh, he big leagues us. Like, I don't think I ever do that. Like, why would I? I'm just a wrestler. I don't walk around like I'm Michael Jackson or something. Like, I want to walk in, say hi, shake everybody's hand, introduce myself. And they'll say, oh, but he's late. And I said, I've produced 30 to 40 to 50 minutes of content a day. I'm very busy, and I literally, honestly, I do not have the time to show up 4 or 5 hours early to an independent show. I don't have the time.
Right.
And if that's a requirement, I won't do them anymore. You know what I mean? But, as far as my deal with the promoters, they say it's fine. Don't worry about it. As long as you have your match all set to go and you know what you're doing, you're good to go.
So they were aware you were going to be late, I'm assuming, because the comment.
Yes, the promoter was. Well, that's the thing. The promoter that I talked to was.
Yeah, so the promoter knew. And that's right. Who, in a sense, should
matters. But it's weird because I feel like when I show up at a show, and let's say there's, Jim Bob Jammin' James, and he's another wrestler on the show, I'm not paying attention to what time he shows up, whose hand he shook, who he didn't talk to, who he does. I'm not worried about any of that. I'm worried about me and my match and performing for the crowd. But all these other guys seem to be worried about what everybody's up to and what time everybody showed up and whose hand they shook and what's their spot on the card and who's going over. And it's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, is something
they're so concerned about this.
Is it something maybe you maybe if you think about it, there's something that you did maybe inadvertently that maybe
that's after the fact I heard that these guys were pretty upset that we weren't there for the call time, which was 3 o'clock or 3:45, something like that. That we didn't show up till 5 o'clock. And I was like, I still sat there for 2.5 hours and waited for my match. What was I going to do for the other 2.5 hours? I don't know.
And this was a show to benefit veterans. I mean, you were there. I mean, you weren't. I don't even think you got paid to go there.
I didn't. I was not. I didn't ask for payday. I showed up free of charge. Just let all the money go to the veterans. I was not asking for any type of pay. The only time I ever even really do ask for pay is if I got to travel over an hour. Because again, that's more of a time commitment for me. Time is money to me because it's less money I can be making working on my own thing.
Gotcha.
So therefore, if I got to travel far, be at an event for 4 or 5 hours, travel home, then I might say, hey, can you throw me a couple $? But this was literally 6 minutes from my house.
Yeah, so it was an easy.
I don't need any money for that. It's good to go. I'm just wrestling my friends, and
easy night.
Yeah, so we showed up, and there was, I'm not going to say a ton of people because it was a very small place, but there was, a couple kids outside waiting for us. They had their little grim signs, they had whatever, and I video with them because that's what I do. I make videos. I videoed myself with them, whatever, and maybe that rubs people the wrong way. That, here comes this guy, and he's filming, and his fans got signs, and he's 2 hours late, and I don't know. Maybe that rubs them the wrong way, and if it does, I'm sorry. But, that's my thing. That's what I do. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to say if, if whoever shows up and he's got fans meeting him outside, that I'm going to be mad about it. Good for you. God bless you. That's why you're here, to build your brand.
Absolutely.
And there are skeptics online who have commented on different social media platforms that all of this was an angle. What do you say to those skeptics online?
Absolutely not. Funny you mention that, because we actually worked a very similar angle with TJ Marconi a few weeks ago.
Right.
And that was an angle. And in that angle, my brother got his face bloodied up, because we were trying to make it look good. But, I didn't go on podcasts saying that it's not an angle. I didn't have WWE superstars backing me up because it was an angle. This, I came out and I said, no, this was 1,000% real. I will never work with these guys. You'll never see these guys on my show. I will never do an angle with these guys on any show, ever. And this is 100% real, and it's a disgrace what they did.
One of the reasons I asked if it was an angle, and part of the skepticism by a lot of people, is your opponent took a power bomb from one of the guys who came in the ring, which would imply that it's like a working move. I mean, because of power. I mean, you're not going to let somebody pick you up. And I mean, it looked like a good power bomb, to say the least. Right. I mean, your man took a good bomb. So I mean, give us the details as to why he would allow himself to be power bombed if it was not an angle.
And if you've seen the video, right, it was literally just after the finish. I had just gotten pinned by that guy who took the power bomb. His name's Jay Evans. He had just pinned me, and it was 1, 2, 3, and then I'd kick out. So now I'm sitting there like this, and I'm arguing with the ref, and I'm saying, hey, come on, I kicked out. And he, no, you didn't. What I was supposed to do, because the other guy's up celebrating on the turnbuckle, I was going to get up and attack him and bring him over and slam him. I didn't even tell him what move I was going to do. I was probably going to do my double underhook slam, which I normally do. But he knows me very well. We improv with each other all the time. And he even said, he goes, I thought that was you attacking me. I thought that was you giving me a powerbomb. Until I hit the ground and I looked up and I said, that's not Grim. Who the fuck are these guys?
There you go, folks.
So that explains why a lot of people have been asking, and that's the reason. You just heard it right now.
And then and the other thing was, on my perspective, is I got hit in the back of the head, right here, right below the skull, with an unprotected elbow shot, as hard as that kid could throw it. Okay? I didn't know that was coming. I didn't see it coming. Nothing. I just got blindsided as I was performing my match, I got blindsided, and I took that shot, and I'm under attack at this point. My immediate thought is, you fight back. You fight back, and you never stop fighting. So I went after this guy, and I hit him back with my elbow. Unfortunately, I was wearing an elbow pad, so it probably didn't hurt him as bad.
And you could see, you got, for a second, you had left the ring, you got out, you were on the apron, and then I believe one of them grabbed the microphone, or was it after? And then you went back into the ring, and then you went to shove him or throw a punch.
Well, that was. Let me get to that, because I hit this kid with an elbow, and now my brother, who's El Jefe Rojo, he was outside the ring, and I hit the kid back with an elbow as he hit me and then kind of turned and ran, because I think he was going after my brother, and I hit him with the elbow, and he kind of went down, and then I turn and I see the power bomb, and then in my thought process, I'm thinking, does he know? My thought process was maybe he knew we were getting jumped or something, and that's why he got powerbombed. And I'm thinking, does everybody know what's going on but me? My brother's not doing anything. He's just laying there. It was just, I'm confused, and I just got hit in the head. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I would have kept attacking that kid.
What was going through your mind? What was going through your mind when you got hit in the back of the head initially?
My first thought was, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. Who just hit me like that?
Yeah.
And I went after him. And
was
like
it
I
a
hit him
forearm behind the back, or was it
elbow?
Was it an elbow?
It was an elbow right here, and I still feel it. How many days later?
Yeah. It's been like a week, I believe.
Close to a week.
Yeah, and so like I said, so then my brother's laying there, and he didn't really do anything. And as he kind of rolled in, the kid that hit me just kind of gives him a soft little worker stomp on the shoulder. So he didn't think that I had just gotten blasted really hard and whatever else. He thought maybe this is a work. Maybe this is, what are these guys doing? Nobody's hurting us. So he wasn't even mad yet. I was the only one that was really mad.
Right.
And then they start cutting this promo. I'm getting out of the ring because, again, I was taught in my training, somebody shoots on you, get the fuck out of there.
Okay.
You don't stay there and get your ass kicked. You get the fuck out of there. Somebody starts shooting on you, get the fuck out. So I start getting out of the ring. And then the son of a bitch goes, get out of our ring.
Yeah.
Now you're challenging me. Now I'm coming back. And when I came back in, I don't think that they expected me to come for them.
I don't think they did. It didn't look like it.
One kid like this, he did one of those. And I said, okay, these pussies clearly don't want to fight. They only want to attack from behind. And I'm starting to think to myself, I think the promoter put them up to this. So at that point, got out of the ring, told the camera, everybody unfollow this promotion. It's trash. I'm going to find the promoter. And I do have another camera angle. I do have more video of me confronting the promoter backstage. Wasn't really backstage. It was more right down that hallway, which is, again, why I think it was a setup. But it wasn't the promoter that booked me to be there. The promoter that booked me to be there was not at that show.
That's what I was going to ask you. The guy who made the phone call, you thought I was going to ask you, was that the guy you thought that set you up? If he did.
I mean, at that point, I didn't know what was going on. But the man who booked me to be there and set everything up with me was not there that night. It was a different gentleman. And I don't know, he's not a gentleman. But he was standing right in that hallway and watched this go down, didn't stop it, didn't cut anybody off. You got the sound people clapping. They handed him a mic. So clearly in my brain, this is a setup. This isn't just two rogue guys deciding to jump in the ring. So I went after the promoter, and I have the video, and I said, oh, you know, what the fuck? You shoot on me? Why the fuck are you shooting on me? I said, you want to make an angle? We'll make an angle. You don't fucking shoot on me. This kid almost killed me, hit me in the back of the head with an elbow. You're going to call me an untrained backyarder when this kid can't fucking throw a strike to save his life? He tried to kill somebody? What the hell's the matter with this place? And at this point, all the boys in the back pulling everybody apart. Those guys ran out the front door. I'm grabbing my bag saying, screw this place, I'm out of here. By the time I walked out, all the audience was gone. Everybody was outside. And these guys were being held back by a wall of people, I'm assuming family, friends, and other workers. Other workers are escorting me and my guys out, and they're taunting us from across the street behind a wall of people.
I did not hear that.
And I'm like, this is a joke. Is this really how this place is run?
Did you feel something was off when you had gotten to the building with your guys?
Only that the promoter wasn't there. But I didn't feel like everybody seemed nice. Everybody seemed welcoming. Had a couple of friends there besides the guys that I brought. Matthias Glass was there. Corey Dillinger was there. Other people I thought were my friends who found out later really aren't. So I didn't think this is a setup. I'm here to get attacked. You know what I mean? It never really crossed my mind.
Right. But for a lot of people that are hearing this for the first time, but most people know about it, but they grabbed the mic and they said that you're a disgrace to professional wrestling, told you to get out of the ring, and you got out of the ring already before they even told you to, but as you said, it was almost like a challenge if somebody tells you, get out of my ring when you're already out of the ring. But then they said you did not deserve to be in that ring. Later on Facebook, they claimed that you were untrained and you're unprofessional for showing up late and whatnot. Are you more upset of the comments, or more upset or more hurt, literally, of the strike at the back of the head?
As a YouTube personality, I deal with hate comments all day long. Mm-hmm. People tell me I don't deserve to be on YouTube. I don't deserve to be a wrestler. I'm fat. I'm disgusting. Whatever.
And I get it all day every day.
Quack, quack, waddle and quack. Right. We let that shit roll right off our back.
Right.
So I don't give a fuck. Who the fuck are they? I don't give a shit what some idiot in socks and sandals in a ring has to say about me. I don't care. I was mad because I was hit. Had they worked me, came in and just, like a wrestler, I would have been like, bye, dumbass. I would have even thought anything of it. Like, you want to work me like a wrestler. But, one of the things they were heckling as we were being escorted out was, $3,000 worth of training. What do you have?
Right.
Okay, let's see. What do I have? 1.5 million followers on YouTube. Okay. What do I have?
I mean, you bought a ring from High Spots. Your turnbuckle says GTS on them.
2 rings.
I have 2 rings.
You have 2 rings, yeah.
I have 2 rings. That's what I have.
And for the record, one of them is not in the backyard. I mean, it's inside of a place I mean, you got figures and pictures and things like.
I have a warehouse that I pay rent on,
Mm-hmm.
right? What else do I have? Sponsors out the ass.
Yeah.
Okay, I have years in the business. I have friends in WWE. You know, I mean, I'm on WWE Network once a week with my reactions on Bring It to the Table.
Right.
You know what I mean? What do I have? I have $3,000 worth of training. I said, you have $0 worth of training because you don't know how to throw a strike, and you climb in a ring in socks and sandals, and you go and you shoot on guys you know nothing about. To me, that's zero training. And then he has the nerve to complain that his family, my girlfriend, she's being attacked online. Well, she entered herself into this by saying, I'm so proud of you guys for taking apart those untrained trash. You know, great job, guys. I stand by you guys. And he retweeted that. So then when I said this clown attacked me, sure. You go talk shit. I mean, have you ever talked shit online and gotten attacked for it? Go talk about politics. Go tweet about something in politics. Somebody's going to find you, and somebody's going to attack you for your opinion. So what the fuck did they think was going to happen? That everybody was just going to be like, hey, good job. You took apart the backyard trash. No. He says, welcome to our world. And I'm like, bitch, welcome to the real world.
And you mentioned just now, and also in your vlog, you heard people behind the curtain clapping. Do you feel that perhaps these wrestlers were told to do this and were egged on? Or now do you feel that the company may be backtracking this because it went too far? Maybe they worked themselves into a shoot.
Honestly, I don't know. Things are hearsay. I don't have any proof of anything. I heard someone say, they said in the back, all this match is shit, we should run in. And some guys are like, haha, yeah, you should do it. Like, ha, ha, ha. You know, maybe thinking, you know, everybody talks shit. Oh, hey, let's rob a bank. And you don't rob the bank. You know what I mean? But, you know, so maybe that conversation happened. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. It's hearsay. But what I do know is the promoter was standing. If you see in that video, you see like that hallway on the right side. Yeah. He was right to the back of that hallway. Didn't do shit to stop it. Those guys actually came right past him when they did that. So how does, you know, he knew the finish. He went over the finish with us. So how does he not condone what happened?
Right, absolutely. Are there any plans for legal proceedings, or have you put this behind you?
You know, funny you mention that because I hadn't checked my email box. I mean, even with you guys, you know, I know you guys emailed me and then Bruce, check your email, man.
You're a hard man to get a hold of.
Yeah, I hadn't checked my email box. I actually opened up the email box, and you know, you never know who people know, you know, and you never know who's watching. And apparently, I have quite a few lawyers who watch my show and would like to represent me and would like to bury these motherfuckers. So, I don't know. I may talk to them. I may see what they have to say. I mean, I'm not about that. I mean, honestly, I look at it as...
You don't seem like a guy that wants to hurt anybody. I just think that this thing...
I wanted to help.
Yeah, I think this whole thing took on its life of its own, and it escalated and it got too far. And yeah. I believe I've seen even they apologized online. I mean, I'll ask you right now.
They apologized and said they were wrong for doing it, but then they said, but they stand by the belief.
Of what they did, yeah.
Of what they did. So to me, that says, I'm only sorry because I'm getting such a backlash. And it's almost like terrorists. I believe that I should blow people up for my God. And like I don't know. It seems like a backhanded apology.
Is there any part of you that understands their logic or point of view of what they did and why they did it?
Part of me says, yeah, but they were wrong. Like, I get where they say backyarders shouldn't be in a ring. That part. I don't get, you don't shoot on them. If I was mad at some other act on a show that I'm on, who cares? Like, okay, those guys were terrible. Let's go be better than them. That's what I would do.
Right, it should be that I want to be better than the
last. I've been on shows where I was like, oh my God, that was terrible. Let's go be better than that.
Exactly. That should be everyone's mentality.
You know, you're part of a show, and you know, if I don't know, it's baffling to me. Danny Cage came out and said, "Did the boys in the back at Monday Night Raw attack Kevin Federline for being shit?" No, because it's not your show. The promoter put that show on. The promoter brought me in because he wanted me to help out with the show. Like, who the fuck are you to hijack a show and try to hurt people on it? You ruin the fans' experience. I mean, from what I heard, the show went on, but for, a quarter of the audience that was there, because most people left and went home and said that was disgusting what we just saw.
And if either of those guys contacted you personally to apologize, give you a genuine apology, Grim, would you accept it?
No cameras, no nothing. Just you called you on the phone or saw you in person. Like,
if it was genuine and my head didn't still hurt, possibly. But I feel like that maybe my head still hurts and it's not genuine. So right now, probably not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's stop talking about this. Let's thank you for discussing your side of the whole ordeal. Let's just switch topics up here. Tell us about some of the toys you've collected. What's the most prized piece that you have?
I have lots of. I have so many different lines of toys. Probably my favorite toys are Transformers.
Okay.
And I have tons of them, and a lot of them are very valuable. I have one that's worth a few $1,000s, but I didn't pay that for it.
Wait, gotta ask you one question real quick. Are
Sure.
you a fan of the movies? The Transformer movies? Or
I liked the first one
okay.
a lot. The
Correct.
second one had a lot of cool action, and then since
A lot
then,
of blow it up stuff.
yeah, like I don't know. There's so much potential. Like I wish I was writing them.
Oh my god.
And like I don't hate the style.
Yeah.
Like some people just hate the style. I'm like, no, I like the style. It's just the storyline I think is trash. And then I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to happen right here, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
We're on the
So.
same page then. All right. Good.
Okay.
Grim, are there any figures you're still hunting or still looking for?
I'm kind of spoiled. I pretty much get whatever I want.
Those $1,000 toys you're talking about, are those the green Hasbros, the Dusty which ones you have?
They're not even worth that much.
They're not
Like,
even-
everybody says, oh, they're so rare and they're sought after. Yeah, because they're like $50, $60, $70 for a little, that's a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're worth thousands of dollars. I mean, like I have a Transformer that's worth like $3,000 himself. Like if I put it on eBay right now, people will be like, oh my God, there's one for sale. Let's bid it up. You know what I mean? And everybody'd be going wild for it.
Bidding
But
war going.
Do you go to a lot of the toy cons and things in the area, like in New Jersey and New York?
I used to. I used to go to them a lot, and now not so much. It's kind of it's hard. Like even when I go to like Monday Night Raw, like as much as it's fun, it's also hard because I can't say I want to run to the bathroom real quick because I get stopped by 15 people,
Yeah.
and I'll miss an entire match because I'm never gonna walk past somebody who wants a picture or to say hello and be like, no, fuck you, I gotta go watch a match. You know what I mean? Or
That's actually.
I wanted to ask you about that. Does that get to you sometimes? You feel like sometimes you get a lot of guys that like they genuinely like you and they want to, they love to be around you. And then you got some that just they want to use you because of the exposure you could give them. Or what do you say to that?
Well, I mean, depends on which aspect you're talking about it. Because if it's somebody who wants to be on GTS, for example, and say, oh, I'm just going on Grimm's show for the exposure. Like, that's fine with me, because I need guys. If I don't have new and exciting guys all the time, the show would get boring and stale. So, guy wants to come on and he wants to get some exposure, and that's really all he cares about. He doesn't care about being my friend or hanging out. Like, I don't really hang out with a lot of the guys outside of GTS anyway, not because I don't like them, but because I don't have the time, And so, that's fine with me. That's like kind of like a mutual thing. You know what I mean? But like if somebody was genuinely trying to be my friend just to use me, like, then I'd be kind of mad. So, just want to show up and be on the show and, hey, I'm here. And it's funny because like I was saying, these guys on the indie shows, if you don't show up 6 hours early, they're mad at you. But I legitimately tell these guys, hey, if all you have time for is to swing in, do a match, and leave, I'm chill with that.
Right.
Because I know how it is.
Who are some of the wrestlers you enjoyed working with? I mean, you've had a lot of you have a lot of independent guys on your shows, but I mean, you've had like Robbie E. and a lot of these guys. Yeah, I mean, who are some of those guys you enjoy working with?
God, I mean, I love all of them. They wouldn't be there. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't sit here and say, oh, I like this one or I like that one because I like all of them. I mean, every guy brings his own unique style, personality, and teaches things. You know what I mean? Because I'm a firm believer of you never stop learning. You know what I mean? And a guy comes in and does things a certain way, and you look at it and go, wow, that's a cool way to do something like that, and you learn. So it's great. I mean, we've had so many great guys, like you said, Blue Meanie, Nunzio, Kurt Hawkins, a lot of the Creator Pro students. And I look up to, like, the Creator Pro students, like, they haven't been on TV yet, but I look at them like they've been on TV. Like, to me, they're going to be there. So to me, in my mind, they're already there.
I mean, you have a great relationship also with Pat Buck as well. I mean,
yeah.
And he's a great trainer as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think one or two right now of my guys that are GTS regulars train at his school.
Okay.
And I sent them there.
Yeah.
And with Pat, he's always been great to me. He's always spoke positive of me. And, I feel the same way about him. I respect the hell out of him and the students he trains because I feel like they're some of the best in New Jersey. You know what I mean? And you see them everywhere. They're in all the promotions all around, and they're all winning the belts, and you know what I mean? They're the guys. So I look at it as if you're in New Jersey, New York, and you want to be a wrestler, you go to WrestlePro. And if I could put Pat over for a second.
Lastly, I would like to have you fill in the blank. The person I want to most appear on my show is blank because blank.
Person I want most on my show.
If you could pick anybody.
Well, honestly, I want Paige to be on the show to work my wife because they had such a great feud. I think my wife fighting Paige would be one of the funniest things ever. It would probably be a train wreck, but that's why it'd be great.
You gotta tell your wife she gotta keep up her end of the bet when she has to wear that shirt at Battleground. She had it on for a while though. She was a champ.
Yeah. Hey, we just put up a new video today. She honored the bet of wearing the sumo suit out in public.
Oh yeah, I saw the notification. I just said I'm gonna watch it after this. But yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's great. Hey Grim, I want to say thank you for the interview and showing everybody here a little different side of you that sometimes that people don't get to see. And
I
definitely
don't
hope
normally just sit and talk on my channel. So
yeah, absolutely. Cool. I mean, we definitely hope we could do this again sometime down the road. I mean, it was great to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
And folks, please make sure to follow Grim on his channels: Grim's Toy Show, .kidlockdmh, Grim's Toy Gaming Show and Stuff, and Silly Super Pop, with new videos uploaded every day at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Grim,
and click that little bell to turn on notifications.
And hit that subscribe button. Grim, thank you so much for joining us here today. Really
thank you guys so much for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you.